Freaking what up, dude?
Thanks for coming out, guys. This rocks a Wednesday, huh?
Hello there. Hello.
I'm speaking human to human, mate.
Hello there.
So what's up, B? Watching the game, having a bud. The Parvinator.
My style is like the reaction from too much acid, never come down.
Now you're playing with power. Fire! I'm Luigi, number one. Fire!
Hey yo, Parvination! What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday! This is America's #1 online video game personality, Ben the Parvinator Parvin, here at your service. And boy, do we have a fun show for you guys. We're gonna be playing some Dragon Quest 3. This game is amazing. I've been loving it. I've been super stoked to come back and play it. Other than the game, I mean, there's a lot of other good stuff too, but damn, the game, I've been thinking about this since we last played it on Sunday, and we just got a boat. Now that opens up so much of the world map to us, and this game is really just kind of showing itself to us, man. I mean, It's been there. I just didn't go look for it for a long time, and well, here it is, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving this game. How are you guys doing? Happy Wednesday. Good to see you. Hopefully, I'm not coming in too late for everybody. It took me a long time to get things put together today. Mostly just because I've been extremely busy the last 2 days. Today was kind of the first day I had in a while that I could really just get down to it. But yeah, I was sick for a little while, and now I'm having to like catch up, and car's been in the shop, having to feed a buddy's cat, and that take care of her, and she was getting a bit sick. So like, yeah, it's just been like, you know, it's been a crazy few days, but man, I'm glad to be here. I hope you guys are too. And yeah, good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Now about that show. All right, we've got a little bit of headline news for you. Not too much, but I did have one story I wanted to cover. We'll get to that a bit later. No, if I talk about it now, it kind of just gives the whole thing away. But we'll get to it a little bit later. I'll just give you a little hint. We're going to talk about the concept of early access. At least one story that touches on that concept of early access, paying or not paying to have early access to a game before it gets released to everybody else, all the rest of us, you know, the people. But we're also going to take some time to cover a feature story tonight, and that is going to be the twisted, bizarre history of Hogan's Alley. We're going to be talking about a game for the Famicom and the NES. We're wishing it a happy birthday. It came out 40 years ago today in Japan. The Famicom version did. And I don't have a whole lot of experience with this game. I totally missed it as a kid. I didn't even learn about it until I was already an adult. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Hogan's Alley. And guys, I'm telling you, man, this thing is just tied into so many facets of history. And you know, you might have seen the hopefully I tried to set up the notification, and I came back and I noticed that it hadn't been saved. So hopefully it did go through. But the prompt here, something to think about, right? What do the FBI, Andy Warhol, the Spanish-American War, silent movies, comic strips, yellow journalism, what do all these things have in common? Shit, you're looking at it. Hogan's Alley, baby. Hogan's Alley. That's the center point of all those different entities. So it's a whole lot of history coming together, colliding, and it's gonna be a fun spotlight. Interesting looking game too, man. Looking forward to talking about it with you guys. But maybe for now we should yeah, go ahead and get into the main game we're playing today. Of course, DQ3. Let's do it. Let's drop in. Nope, we don't want to do gamer news. We want to go. Let me move this around a bit. We want to go here. There we go. All right, let's talk some gameplay. Sorry about that. One of these days I'm going to get these buttons rearranged. All right, we're back in Dragon Quest 3. Like I said, the last thing we did was we unlocked. We got a boat. We brought the King of Portoga some pepper, and he got us a boat. And with that boat, we were able to, I mean, looks like we're going to be able to sail to some stuff we haven't been to yet. I did take some notes when we were last talking, including a little map that I was working on here. We're going old school. I've got like a little bit of a map to try to show me where some things were that I could eventually get to here. But yeah, I did take some notes. Yeah, we found a guy at a lighthouse who was telling us that we could sail down the Cape of Tadanki, and from there, basically, he mentioned a couple other stops along the way, but he mentioned the island of Zipangu, which I'm pretty sure is Japan. And I don't know that we'll go there today, but we have a lot of stuff we can do. I thought first, one of the things I might do is go over near the town of Dharma, see if we can buy a little more equipment, and then we might do some exploring in our boat. So let's do that. Let's get to it, baby. We're going to start by having Wizard return us to a visited location. We will go... Dharma is the town where we can actually change our our vocation. Let's just fly there for a second. I just want to check in on it. We're not yet level 20. We don't have any characters at level 20. But, hopefully the game audio is loud enough, too. Oh, interesting. Does the boat kind of come around the world to us? I really wasn't expecting to see the boat there. Oh, no worries. I haven't made any adjustments to this sound, but it's coming in my headset a little bit low. So you'll have to let me know later on if it sounds like we need to adjust it. Of course, it might be a little different when we get into battle, too. Yeah, so here we are. Let's see where in the world Dharma is. Yeah, I mean, we're... So we came through here by first going through a town that was kind of modeled after, you know, something in India. And what was that? Bharata, I think was the name of that town. We've moved now to the town of Dharma, and yeah, we're getting now. You know, we were sort of exploring India, this game's version of it, and we've sort of moved a little further northeast, and it looks like we're kind of in this like Himalayan, you know, Tibetan sort of area here, and there's a giant temple. This is where this area's king lives, Dharma. We could go through the front door. I don't know that I ever popped into this side door here, actually. These steps here. Far to the east lies the golden country of Zipangu. I'd love to go there someday. Hey, me too, man. Here's our priest. We don't really need anything from them. Trustworthy servant of God. Oh, man. Do. All right. Let's see. We talked to this fool, right? Yep. Zipangu. What else we got? Welcome to the inn. That'll be 8 gold for the night. Would you like to stay the night? I don't think we need to, actually. That's a pretty cheap inn, though. Which is nice, honestly. They like to charge an arm and a leg sometimes. I mean, we're usually having the funds for all that, but still. So, you know, each character has a job class. You know, the protagonist of the game, aka just known colloquially as the hero, they are their own job class. They cannot change to something else. And I did read that if you try to change the hero to another job class, you get yelled at, apparently, because the guy's like, well, who else is going to save the world? You know, who else is fit to do that? You know, so the hero isn't able to change their job class. Hero is kind of a, they tend to be pretty balanced with the typically a, you know, medium strength, attack, medium strength, you know, magic as well. They kind of, I guess, to balance that out a little bit, they do give you a lot less MP than the other magic characters would have. But yeah, our characters right now, we have mage. Well, let me show you their names here. 1 second. Oops. These are just the short ones. Oh, we have a wizard following behind our hero, Benji. Wizard is they call them mages in this game. Rambo is a fighter type. They are the one behind Wizard. Typically really high attack. Usually lots of agility as well. And they don't really like weapons. They other than claws. Those are about the only weapons that the fighters like. And then you have Testify, the sage. Wait, not sage. I think sage is like a future job or a job class that we can turn someone into if we get a special item, or if we had a certain job class called the I think in this game, I'm trying to remember what they call it. Shoot. It's like a jester. Oh gosh, I don't remember. You know, there's different translations. We're doing a fan translation of this, and I don't remember what they call that job class, but But anyway, testify is I believe a priest is what they call it in this translation. Kind of think of them as sort of a white mage. They're going to be able to do spells to like take away the stats of your enemies, and also they're very powerful healers. Their mending magic, mending might is quite strong, you know. So
I miss you.
good to see you guys again. Happy Wednesday. Come on in. I want to become a fighter. Let's see. I'm going to become a dealer. Oh, that's another class as well. There's also Thief. Thief was added for this Super Famicom remake that we're playing now. Was not in the original 8-bit version. I want to become a magician. Okay, yep, a mage. I want to be a young girl again. Nice. Hell yeah. Dude, can you... Yeah, well... Anything's possible in Dragon Quest and the world at large, you know? Here we go. Let's talk to this fella. Even after you lose your levels from changing classes, your past deeds will still benefit you. If a priest becomes a fighter, and then a priest again, they'll start out at level 1 again. Back up. He's getting into some sort of advanced strategy, but when we do decide to change one of these characters' classes, or their vocation, their job, they will go all the way down to level 0. They'll shoot down to level 0, but they will keep half of their stats, which is a way, if you can probably imagine, that's a way more powerful, way higher stats than what a just vanilla level 0 character would have. You know, you're going to be able to keep half of your stats after having gained 20 levels worth of, or however many. You know, you can change your class if you have a minimum of if you're at a minimum of level 20. But yeah, so you know you go down to level 1, but you do keep half of the stats that you had accrued, and then that allows you to start learning the abilities, spells, things like that of those other classes, whatever class you switch into. So you could probably imagine that this is a way to kind of make some pretty well-rounded characters. You know, for instance, a mage that you know, when they were just a mage, you know, it was all kind of offensive magic and buffs for the party, and then you can get them that healing magic if you switch them over to priest or all the term. Again, there's, you know, several versions of this game, and this is just a fan's translation here, so some of the terminology gets loose. But priest, I guess priest is what it's right here in front of me. But I just got a message that my stream may not be running on YouTube. Let me see what's going on. Sorry, let me see. Yeah, why is it saying private? What the hell? I didn't mark that. Okay, 1 second. Let's fix this. Public. I said switch to public. Done. Save. Okay, well, thank you to that good Samaritan who just let me know. Hopefully we're live now. Very strange. I think we're good on Twitch. I've got a viewer on Twitch, so I'm good there. Okay, well, sorry about that, guys. I don't know. It's not like I've gone in and changed anything. YouTube's trying to shut us down, man. They're trying to censor us. They don't want to hear the truth about Hogan's Alley and its connection to the FBI, yellow journalism, the Spanish-American War, silent movies. Trying to shut us down. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I think we're running on YouTube, so hopefully we're all good. Changing classes too frequently can end up being pointless, but at least you'll level up quickly again. Yep. And I'm mostly just doing this just to see what's around, because we're not quite ready for to change jobs. It's all good. Here's the king. This is the Shrine of Dharma. You can change your classes here. Would you be interested in changing someone's class? I would be, but I'm not level 20 yet. And be on your way. I like this temple too, with the fog rolling in. And if a magician becomes a fighter, they can still use magic. But because you start from level 1, it'd be bad for the whole party to change classes. I recommend changing only 1 or 2 of your companions' classes at a time. If it's your first time, try changing a priest to a fighter. That's one thing I have thought about. In fact, Testify, our priest, is they have like a pretty decent attack. They're saying here if we change a priest to a fighter, and, you know, then they would have that healing magic plus, you know, an even higher attack at that point, and just be, you know, pretty badass. Kind of like almost like a white, sort of a, you know, they've got or I guess like a healing fighter, you know, pretty sweet. 2 companions who can heal is very helpful. And if they're fighters, they can cast spells quicker in battle with their increased agility. Yep. I think that is going to be one of the things we're going to change. And I might... Hey, Derek Ho, welcome.
Hello.
Good to see you. My apologies to the folks on YouTube. I don't know what happened, but the video started as private. I've only been going about 20 minutes, but apparently the video, when I first started the stream, the video came in as private. So unfortunately, we missed the beginning. It's too bad. Yeah, welcome guys. Happy Wednesday. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm running for president.
The Parvinator.
The Nintendo Entertainment System.
All right. I don't think we're ready for this just yet. I also always hit that button trying to look at my stats. But I think if we go to info, yeah, we're only at levels 17 and 18 now. So we still got a little ways to go. That's okay. I was wondering if there was any, you know, any place to buy some weapons in here, but I don't think that there is. I like that there's like these little cushions around here and stuff. I'm digging this temple. It's pretty cool. All right. Okay, moving around. You know, one of the other things I thought about doing was possibly going to the city of Bharata again and seeing if we can maybe, yeah, find some stuff to you know, weapons, armor, things like that. I'm a Shinto priest. I serve Marinara, the god of names. Oh, this is where we can change our names. I'm blessed with the power to rename people. Would you like me to rename anybody in your party? You know, I have thought about this. Maybe it's time, especially since they're going to be changing jobs. You know, I kind of gave them these names that were supposed to kind of be indicative of what their job class was, like Rambo, the fighter. But at some point, I'm probably going to be changing folks up. So, I don't know if that's the move. Personally, I think I'd like to get folks a little beyond level 20 before we start changing jobs anyway, because, you know, there's still like some important spells and things I would like to get, like for Testify here, before we switch him to maybe be a fighter or something. So I'll be right back. I'm going to turn my fan on. Okay, fan, I want to turn you on, but I don't want you to be so loud. It's so loud. Fan is on. Woo, and it's blowing, baby. That feels good.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up.
All right. That's all crooked. I'm going to get the bandana back at some point, the signature headwear, you know, but it just, it hasn't been one to fit on me lately. I need to get a good re-roll on it. All right, well, we'll exit here, and I'm gonna. I wanted to just kind of explore a little bit more of this map because I don't think we I'm always hitting the wrong buttons. Hit R? Yeah, like what's up to our north, kind of. We stopped here. Oh, there's a tower and stuff that I haven't been to. Okay, a ram moor and a killer ape. I know we've seen at least the killer ape, but have Benji fight the rams because he can hit them both at the same time. I'll have. We'll hit with the big fire attack. We'll hit the killer ape. We'll have Rambo fight the killer ape too and testify. Sure, for now, just fight the killer ape. Take that thing down. Oh, 90 damage. Hell yeah. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I don't know if I made it to this tower before. This is looking kind of. We'll have to pop in and see what's up. Ooh, are those like metal slimes, huh? We want to try to kill those if we can. I don't know if that would hit them, but yeah, let's see. They typically have these killer apes are pretty strong. I don't want to mess around too much, but the metal slimes can be worth a lot of experience. Yeah, they run away. They run away a lot, though. That's the issue. Unaffected. Damn. I love that animation of them running up. No damage, really. Yeah, no, it's hard to get an attack in on them, you know? It's interesting it says no damage versus missed, though. Maybe that signifies I shouldn't be using these weapons or something. I don't know. Let's see. See what we can do. Firebane, there we go. Yeah, stick around, because a little bit later we're going to be talking about Hogan's Alley, a game that came out on this day in history. We're going to do a little good old days. And yeah, to wish a happy birthday to an old Famicom game. And we're going to be talking about Hogan's Alley, Hogan's Alley's place in history. And it's kind of a wild ride, honestly. Like, this was a really fun rabbit hole that I ended up going down. I'd like to take you guys with me. We've only managed to do like a tiny bit of damage, huh? Unaffected. Unaffected. Can anybody hit these things? 1 damage. Well, I guess these weapons do hit them. I think they're just very evasive. Oh, we did take 1 down. Like I said, I think the metal slimes are usually like a really high experience yield, so we'll see. Can we take a second one down? We already had 1 flea. Use blaze on us, huh? Everybody fight him. Thankfully, they're not that tough or anything. Seems like a good amount of experience. We did get a level up out of it. Very cool. Hero leveled up to level 18. Wizard went to level 19. Step guard. Testify reaches level 19. Yeah, look at that. We got some good experience there. Testify learns defense. Okay, cool. Gosh, I mean, maybe we should like, maybe I should try to do a little bit of healing and see, you know, maybe this would be a good place to stick around. I wonder if I should use like some of those, yeah, maybe I'll get into some of our medical herb from the bag and save some MP. We're also going to talk a little bit about early access games, too. That should be fun. One in particular, just saw some headlines for, and yeah, you know, early access, you know, could be an awesome thing, right? Getting access to play a game before it's launched under certain circumstances, you know, very cool, right? But we're going to talk about a headline I saw a couple days ago that just kind of blew my mind, honestly. Hard to believe that it's hard. It's such a it's an idea that I'm just like, man, you know, I'm doing too much previewing of it, but yeah, without being able to say enough. So stay tuned, we'll get there. I'd like to wait and see if we get this stream rolling a little bit longer, you know, and a little more fierce too. I don't typically like to jump into those sections unless I've got, you know, I just want the stream to get rolling, right? Folks in the chat, everybody hanging out. Because when folks come and join, sometimes they're like, "Did I miss the good old days, or gamer news, or things like that?" And yeah, don't want anybody to miss anything. Get a little momentum. These ram moors are cute. Oh, wow, dude. We got a lot of experience, didn't we? Because these, from that previous battle, we got like 2,000 something experience, didn't we? And then just now, these ram moors, killing 4 of them was just 162 experience points. Yeah, that's why everybody leveled up in our party when we killed those metal slimes. Catula. Okay, we fought a few of these. Shouldn't be too tough. Yeah, not bad. Rambo's up at, I think everybody's at level 18 or higher at this point. Very cool. Do. Ooh, look, we got all those metal slimes there. Okay, so I hate it, but I may need to like try to knock these other things out first. Let me see if I can knock out the ram thing, the ram moor. This is a good place to level up, it seems, if these guys are here often. Speed up could be good, too. They often flee. You know, you're lucky if you take them down often. And there are strats to get the you know, metal slimes easier, but I don't know those strats. Lots of things don't hit them. I think I'm gonna have Rambo. I'm gonna try to go in on them though if I can, and I'm gonna go ahead and have Testify. See if you can hit one of these as well. I really need to take out these other things too, but... Oh, you went for the Killer 8. Damn, I meant for Benji to go against the metal slimes there. That's okay. We're down to just the slimes. Hey, what's up, Nick? Welcome.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Good to see you, buddy. Welcome, guys. Come on in. Come on in. What's going on, guys? Come on in. Yeah, we're trying to see if we can get a little... well, I was just walking around the map, and then we encountered a few metal slimes 2 battles ago, I think, and they yield a ton of experience. So I'm trying to see if we can take them down. They have a really high evasive, you know, evasion. So they're squirrely little guys. Well, yeah, they're typically in these games, the like metal slimes. There's a few different couple different varieties of metal slimes, but including like a liquid metal one. But yeah, they typically yield a whole bunch of experience, so that's what we're trying to get here. It's just hardly anything does damage to them, you know? And they flee a lot. We did take one down, and we got a couple hits just now, so this is kind of promising. We took 2 down last time as well. Look at that. We were, in the previous battles, we were getting like, we saw, or there was one earlier, it was like 100-something experience, and we just got 2,193. Like, it's pretty solid, you know? Nobody leveled up that time, but I bet they all went a long way towards it. So we gotta remember this place. Bum 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 bum. Da-dun, da-dun. Well, a little bit later, we're going to get into some gamer news. A little bit short on that today, but I did get one headline I saw that I wanted to cover with you guys regarding early access. But we're going to do a feature story as well on Hogan's Alley. And we're going to talk about how Hogan's Alley is just at the center of so many aspects of history, pop culture, you know, yeah, I mean, what do the FBI, Andy Warhol, silent movies, comic strips, yellow journalism, the Spanish-American War. I've forgotten a few things too. What all these things have in common? Well, damn, it's Hogan's Alley, right in the middle, right in the middle of all those things, and it's some really interesting history. So yeah, we're gonna cover that in a bit, and of course talk about the game too. Wish it a happy 40th birthday. I think we'll get to that before too long. You know, I want to jump into that at some point, especially since I'm getting such a late start. And you know, that's just because I'm still kind of running behind. I just wasn't able to get a lot of work done these last couple days. Today was the first day I had where I didn't have to go leave the apartment and run some errands for a few hours. Been dealing with like our car in the shop and taking care of our buddy's cat, and while he's away, and it's been a lot of and then, you know, was sick a couple weeks ago, so I'm just catching up on everything, you know. Oh yeah, today felt good to just have a full day I could dedicate to prepping stuff. I was afraid these are going to be like warp tiles or something. Oh, I came in here once, didn't I? Life is a journey toward enlightenment and salvation. Welcome to the Tower of Garuna. Yeah, we popped in here once. I think I was getting a little scared. Oh yeah, we did. I remember these great beaks. I don't think we finished this area though. I was getting a little into the leveling up there, and I haven't really been watching my NP much, so we might have to just kind of exit, you know, make a quick exit out of here at some point so we don't get smoked. But you know, we'll see what's up. Happy Wednesday, guys.
Thanks for coming out, guys. This rocks a Wednesday, huh?
I like the great beak. They're greedy too. They get a couple hits per turn, huh? Greedy little birds. Rambo, why don't you fight? Testify. It really feels like the game has opened up a lot because we got a boat the last time I played, and I used that boat to do a little bit of exploration. I found a lighthouse where a guy was telling us a few different areas we could head to, and mentioned the island of, I know in some versions they call it Jipang, I think, and in this one they call it the island of, say I wrote it down, island of Zipangu in this one, Zipangu. Can probably guess what that's supposed to be. I don't think I should spend too much time in here right now. I was again, I'm a little we're a little low on some things, MP and whatnot, so Make sure I can get us out of here safely. Rambo, why don't you fight the little green bugger? The Nev. Testify, you still got a pretty good amount of MP. Testify, why don't you... I don't know if a wind attack will work against some bird-looking things, but it's worth a shot. Here it is. Needed a piece of gum. Thank you guys for hanging. Happy Wednesday. Hope you've been doing well, getting some gaming in. Hopefully, everybody's taking care of themselves too. I'm looking forward to getting back to the jogging because I haven't done that yet since I've been sick, and I'm a little bit worried because it's getting close to about 3 weeks since I've jogged, and yeah, it's been a while since I took that much time off, I'm really looking forward to getting back to it and hoping it doesn't kick my ass too much, but I'm a little afraid to, honestly, just because well, I have been hesitating just because I still have like some lingering congestion, and like when I wake up in the morning, I can feel that, it reminds me of like I had pneumonia many years ago, a couple years after college, and it like I had it a couple times in a year, like it hit me a couple times, and it wasn't like super severe. It was like a walking pneumonia, whatever. But still, it was one of those things where like if it could have gotten much worse. Caught it at a good time. But the thing I remember that was just that it felt like it lingered in many, like I could feel pretty much 100% in most ways. But it still took me a matter of like a couple months to really feel like I had my full lung capacity back, and like I could take a huge deep quick breath and not like just start coughing. Took a while for me to get that. So I'm yeah, thank you, Nick. Yeah, thanks, man. I think I'm gonna try to go on Friday because I won't give you guys too crazy details, but I'm still congested in my chest. Stuff is still it's still coming out, thankfully, but I'm kind of surprised because like I feel close to 100% in many ways, but I don't know, maybe my lungs got a bit roughed up and a little scarred up or something. And when I wake up in the morning, I've been having this like pretty, like it's not a 10 level of pain, but it's like it's pretty strong in my, it feels like it's like the lining of my lungs and in my shoulder blade a bit, like my left shoulder blade. And I'll get up from the bed to go use the restroom in the morning, or like I'm finally just getting up to get up and move around, finally woken up for good. And I'll get up from the bed and it's like it hurts to breathe in, and it's like, yeah, it's frustrating, man. I think this stuff's gonna linger for a couple weeks. Kind of bummed about it, but what can you do? All right, let's hit up the inn, and yeah, 8 gold for the night. What a bargain. I think I actually wrote down before where this where those slimes were, but I'm just gonna make another note. It was like in between shit, do I have a pen? Bum bum. I bought a pack of pins recently, and I've just been seeding them like all around the house. One in the book bag, one in the fanny pack. I said it. One in the fanny pack. One on the desk. One in the living room. You never know. So we got some metal slimes. It's kind of in the area between. This is Dharma. And the next, I forgot what they said that tower was actually. And then it's just kind of in the rocky areas. I've been doing a lot of notes. I showed this earlier, but I've been doing maps and stuff, and just like trying to draw. At the end of every stream, trying to point my future self in the right direction, since you can forget a lot in a couple days. All right. Once again, apologies to anyone on YouTube. I don't know what happened today, but I launched the stream like normal. I certainly didn't go in and mark the stream to be private, but this is the second or third time now that YouTube has somehow defaulted to a private stream, and I got a message about 15 minutes in saying that your stream's not on YouTube, and I looked and it had been marked as private, but I did no such thing. And like I said, I don't know, man, maybe they're trying to shut us down. This show's just getting too powerful. These legions of gamers, all three of you're just ready to just get out there and kick Big Gaming's ass, and give them a piece of your mind. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's what happens when you start speaking truth to power, Yeah. There's our boat. Also, this boat followed us around. I thought I would need to come back and fetch it from the other side of the map since I warped over here, but thankfully our boat gets lonely, and it will I guess put itself in the nearest body of water. I don't know. I guess that is an outlet all the way out to the ocean. I'm really enjoying this game, man. I'm really enjoying this game. I getting the boat, realizing that with the boat, the guy was instructing me. So look at, of course, this map is modeled after our own here. But if you look there on the west side of the map, you see Africa. He had basically told us to ride the boat down the west coast of Africa, and that he mentioned that bay there, that where it opens up to the ocean. We went up in there, did some exploring, and I realized oh, there was stuff that we didn't cover yet on foot back in this way. So yeah, it really feels like it's all opening up for us, and I'm digging it. Yeah, I appreciate it. The user friendliness, and this is I want to eventually play the NES version of this game. I might have to do that one on my own time, but I would like to eventually play the NES version, because this is such a great remake. But I hear that DQ3 and 4, they really were a big step into what a modern RPG is, and what they would be, and it doesn't seem like, even if you play the NES version, you miss out on a little bit of what do you call them? Quality of life upgrades and stuff, but it's very playable and seems really fun, and this has been a great version too. Well, guys, maybe we'll let's mix it up. We're about, oops, what happened? We're about, let's lock that down. Come on, I don't need that moving on me. Give me just 1 second. I've been trying to go in and try to lock some of these elements down, because I absolutely will just make them start sliding all around, like I did just now with the game. Woo! All right, it's locked down. Let's switch it up a bit, and let's maybe maybe we go into one of the gamer lifestyle segments.
Yeah, we're hearing that this is a big deal.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it, guys. All right, in just a little bit, I think we'll do some news first, but after news, depending on the time, might take a brief break. We might just roll right into the feature. But tonight's kind of feature presentation is going to be on the bizarre history of Hogan's Alley. We're going to talk about a game that it was a light gun game for the Famicom, the NES. Also, there was like an arcade version of it with the Versus, the Nintendo Versus system version of it. We'll talk about that as well. But dude, I had such a fun time yesterday taking this deep dive into this history of Hogan's Alley, and it's crazy how much history, pop culture, all this stuff is just spinning around, right? It's a whole cosmos just rotating around this the black hole at the center that is Hogan's Alley for the Famicom. And happy birthday to that game, 40 years old today. We're going to get to that eventually. I think we'll cover some news first, and then see where we're at. And also, I know I got started pretty late, so maybe it'd be good to get those segments out of the way and then get to the gaming. So let's do it, guys. Let's take a look at some headlines from around the world. Let's do it. All right, guys, we've only got one major headline for you today, but we'll see if we can, dig deep into it. Still gearing up, still trying to ramp things up, but yeah. All right, guys, I don't know if you saw this one from Eurogamer or elsewhere, but it has been making the rounds. Got this a couple days ago. Life is Strange fans criticized the $30 upgrade to play new games early chapter 2 weeks early. Yeah, so 2 chapters you get to play. You get to do that 2 weeks early if you pay $30, and you can be you can know everything there is to know about, well, the first 2 chapters of this next game. Let's get into this, because when I saw this headline, I was like, whoa, $30 for 2 weeks. Like, surely that there's more to it, and of course there is. But let's talk about it. Life is Strange. Also, man, just the irony too of the game being called Life is Strange, and then I'm just looking at this thing that makes me kind of like, shit, life is strange, dude. $30 for 2 weeks of early access. Okay. All right, as you get into the article, right at the top, it says, Life is Strange fans have criticized an Ultimate Edition version of the game, which gives advanced access to chapters 1 and 2, 2 weeks ahead of its main release date. The Ultimate Edition, eh? Right? Chapters 1 and 2, you get advanced access to. It goes on to say, Double Exposure is set to launch for PC, PlayStation, Xbox Series X and S on the 29th of October, priced $50. This is the the base game that will eventually come out to the rest of us who didn't, buy the advanced copy here. But if you buy the pricier Ultimate Edition, you can play its opening chapters on the 15th of October for $80. Now, there's a lot to this. Early access has been something that's been kind of a point of contention for years at this point. It was interesting getting into this and seeing down in the comments some kind of like counter examples of times in which it was some kind of early access because there's a play testing element to it, and certainly I'm with you on that, right? As I get into this, I think about what playing a game that means a lot to me has meant, and yeah, how do you, sometimes it's hard to put a price on that, right? How do you put a price on the enjoyment that something could bring you? That's hard to do, and I want to acknowledge that, absolutely. But as we get into this, let's see what we're getting for that additional $30, and we'll have to decide if that's right for us. Each person has to figure that out. Now, me, I'm not that familiar with this series, so I will not be paying the additional $30, but maybe someone who's a big fan would. And I don't want to judge them on that. I just want to take a look at all this, right? To see if we can see it from a, you know, from way up there, right? Take a nice view. What's that? What is it? 30,000 feet? I got into like trying to say how many feet of a view I want, you know, of the look, and I was like, I don't know how the phrase goes. All right. The Ultimate Edition also includes an array of alternative cosmetic options for Max, the main character, as well as an additional side quest involving cats. Right, it gets a little sweeter here, right? You're getting an array of alternative cosmetic options. In some games, that's huge. As well as an additional side quest involving cats. Now, that definitely got my attention, right? And looks like it's got Nick's as well, extra quests. It goes on to say, as well as being a push for more money from fans, there's been criticism also of the inevitable story spoilers that will hit the internet as soon as some players gain access to double exposure's opening sections. And I think that this last paragraph here, it has been a point that a lot of people really harped on, including folks who were in favor of this Ultimate Edition. It getting spoiled, right? You know, this is apparently like a really narrative-based game. I could imagine that, I mean, it's difficult if you start following any video game media. I admit it is difficult to avoid those spoilers. I've dealt with that before. Should you decide to continue, you know, there's steps. You have to be very proactive if you are already reading a lot of reading a lot of video game news, or seeing it on Reddit, YouTube, what have you. You have to be super proactive to try to avoid spoilers when something comes out if you're already a part of that ecosphere, and sometimes it's impossible to do. So I get it, you know, again. And I'm feeling a little more empathy as I read through this too, you know. As I get through this, I have to admit, I am seeing a different POV that maybe I didn't quite see this as well this morning. The part that gets me, though, I think, is Square Enix is playing into the FOMO here. And I can't blame them. So here's what they went on to say. Don't miss your chance to join the conversation around this unforgettable supernatural murder mystery, notes Square Enix's marketing team, marketing for the game's Ultimate Edition on Steam. But yeah, even Square is kind of jumping in and, you know, sort of, obviously they're marketing on the fear of missing out, the FOMO. Don't miss your chance to join the conversation. Yeah, you don't want to miss your chance to join that conversation now. You really don't. Now, a lot of people were really pissed about this. A lot of people were super pissed. I would say, from what I could judge, it seems like the fan base is a bit split on this, with even some fans basically saying like, hey, don't anybody go buy this. Some fans of this game. And this has been, I'm coming in a bit late on this story, honestly. They've already been, it's been a hot topic for a couple days now, but then there's other fans too who said like this, things along these lines. To avoid getting caught up in spoilers, I will be pre-ordering the Ultimate Edition, another fan wrote. A very bad decision by Square Enix. To avoid getting caught up in the spoilers, I'll be pre-ordering the Ultimate Edition. Okay, right? There's the FOMO. Don't want anything spoiled. A very bad decision by Square Enix. Now, I gotta say, this is the part, though, where you lose me. What was that phrasing? A very bad decision by Square. What a terrible decision, Square Enix. I can't believe you've done this. Oh my God. I have no choice but to fork out an additional $30 so that I can play the first 2 chapters of this game 2 weeks prior to the other to everybody else. This is the part where it's like, if you truly have a problem with it, don't put your money towards it if you can. How much it's going to be spoiled? I mean, you do have the option of going and unsubbing from a subreddit or, you know, logging off. That's tough. I admit that's hard. And even when I've tried to avoid spoilers, I had it done. But damn, dude, bad decision, a very bad decision. Here's my $30. And I think it's at this point that I'm looking at, well, what do we get with this, right? $30 for some additional missions, cat missions. I like cats. $30 for some cat missions. That $30 also gets you some cosmetics, and it gets you 2 weeks early access to the first 2 chapters. And you get to be a part of the conversation. Now, I want to say, I think that this can be justified, and honestly, you guys have opened my eyes to that a bit. I think if, for a big fan of this series, I can see where they could feel that $30 is getting them a lot. But for someone who's upset about it, it's just, you don't have to do it. You don't have to pay that extra $30. Think of something else you could do with $30 while you wait for 2 weeks. We're asking 2 weeks. And then you can pay 50 instead of 80. How could we spend this money better? If we had $30, well, everybody's different, but if I had $30 and I didn't already own this game for $4.99, I might buy Dragon Quest III: The Seeds of Salvation for the Nintendo Switch. $12.49 for a classic game, right? There's $12.49, almost half our money in one go. Damn. Now, what about the cats, right? Well, you probably are already paying for access to YouTube, you know, internet access, and therefore YouTube. I mean, shit, you got unlimited cat content on YouTube. Can that tide you over for 2 weeks? Have you watched all the I Am Maru videos? That's kind of my celebrity cat. I Am Maru. This is not Maru on the screen, but Maru is the one that likes. You might have seen a cat that likes to jump into boxes, and has been doing it for many years. Kind of a nice little chubbykins. Well, dude, 2 weeks isn't going to be enough to catch up on I Am Maru. You know, you're going to have more cat videos than you're going to know what to do with. And we're still at what? $12.49, you know? Now, Life is Strange, I hear, is really kind of, for many fans, a lot of the enjoyment hinges on the narrative of the game. It's supposed to have these really cool story. And if you like narratives, you could get a library card. That's free. You know, you're worried about spoilers. Think about all the books that are in that library. Also ebooks too, dude. You don't even have to set foot in that place. Think about an entire world's worth of literature. Have you read it all? You better get in there before you get some spoilers, right? Because there's some good fucking stories in a library. That's a good way to spend 2 weeks as well. I know you're thinking, all right, I thought this was about retro games. This dude's want me to read, but look, come on, we need to expand our horizons a bit too, you know? But look, you don't want Moby Dick to get spoiled for you, do you? Come on, get down there. Get your public library card. Well, shit, we still have $17.51. I mean, I guess you could hit up the arcade. That would probably get you like, you know, maybe a beer and a few bucks worth of games. I don't know. Just spitballing here. The cosmetics, right? The cosmetics. Well, dude, you could buy some for yourself. You could get the Jet Set hydration kit from Elf for $17. That puts us, we're close to 30 at that point. We're getting close to 30. You know? And look, you do these things, you get your Dragon Quest III, you get your library card, your Jet Set hydration kit. It even came, I think it's called the Jet Set because it came with like a little, you know, TSA approved travel bag, you know. You get all this stuff. Okay, Oh, the cat videos too, right? You watch a couple weeks worth of cat videos. I'm telling you, if you do this for 2 weeks, if this is your plan, those cat videos, there's no way you're not going to be in good spirits watching a couple weeks worth of YouTube cat content, right? You're going to have a little pep in your step. You're going to be smiling, shooting finger guns at people. Come on. You're going to be well read. You got that library card. You're catching up on all the classics. You know, you're going to be well read. A nice citizen of the world, you know, with a literary understanding of the world around you and how the things that are on the written page or on your ebook screen there, how they all play into the world at large, and even gaming. A lot of great books on gaming. And look, you pick up the Jet Set hydration kit or 17 bucks worth of cosmetics, whatever, however you want to spend it, you're going to have great skin. So you could be in good spirits, you could be well read, you can have great skin, and you still got like a little bit of change left, right? And you're going to understand the importance of this game to Japanese culture, pop culture, history at large, right? A window into the psyche of the Japanese gamer through Dragon Quest III. So it's up to you. You know, this is something each person has to decide for themselves. Do I want that early access, cat missions, cosmetics, 2 weeks of early access so the story doesn't get spoiled? Or do I want the great skin, a high reading level, and just feeling fucking good, seeing all that cat content, right? Just being a well-adjusted person. Not to mention the DQ3. Everybody's got to decide for themselves. So, I don't know, just something to think about. That's it for headlines from around the world of gaming. Wednesday, June 12th. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Again, I do feel... I see the perspective a little better, I think, than I did when I first started this. But, yeah, you got... I'm just saying, especially if money is an issue, save that 30 bucks. Wait a couple weeks and find a good way to spend that time. All right. Now, maybe, let's see. At this point, trying to decide, kind of got a strange timing. Sorry. It is just kind of a weird time, man. I got a long spotlight on, you know, we're going to be talking about Hogan's Alley next. So I'm trying to triangulate what to do with the time here, but maybe we just jump into that. Give me 1 second and we'll just jump in and talk about Hogan's Alley. Then we'll take a break. All right. Let's do that. All right, guys. I like to do a segment on here that I haven't gotten a chance to do since you know, I was out a couple weeks from being sick, and I haven't pulled off a good old days since then. So yeah, we're gonna do a little game retrospective. We're gonna talk about a game called Hogan's Alley for the Famicom. We're wishing this thing a happy birthday, happy 40th birthday, and this was such a fun dive down the rabbit hole, learning about Hogan's Alley's place in the center of all this pop culture history, military history, history of journalism. There's assassinations in here as well, yellow journalism, and right at the center of it all, Hogan's Alley. Let's do it. Let me take you back to the good old days, guys. Let's do it. Okay. All right, guys. Happy 40th anniversary to the Famicom version, the Japanese version of Hogan's Alley. Came out 40 years ago, back in 1984. I've got a fun little box art here with a couple little sticker remnants from, I believe this came from Moby Games. I love the box art for it, too. This is... we will be covering this game extensively, but I wanted to take you guys through this history that I just learned. Don't mean to present myself as an expert on this, but Well, yeah, this was such a fun ride getting into this yesterday as I was preparing. So we're going to talk about the game at length. We're going to talk about differences between the Versus System version. It was like an arcade version. How this was one of the first NES black box games. We're going to get into all that, but I thought, just to give you the basic premise of this game, it is a light gun game, an early Famicom and NES game, where there's a couple different game modes, but basically it's kind of a shooting range, shooting gallery kind of game. You're using a light gun, the zapper, and you are shooting cardboard cutouts. Some of them. All right, so think shooting range, think, shooting gallery style game. We'll cover the details of the game in a bit, but I want to tell you how this game came to be. A little bit about its name, right? If you want to know the origins of the title, you got to go way back. You got to go way back, okay? I got to take you back to the past. Not like avgn, but similar. Okay, I want to talk first about the 1890s comic strip Hogan's Alley. As far as I could tell, this was the earliest like origins of this name, the 1890s comic strip Hogan's Alley. On the left here is a character named Yellow Kid. This was a hugely popular comic character. It actually became like an early, marketing, a huge marketing sensation with this kid showing up on plates and bowls and postcards, and it was like a pretty early pop culture marketing sensation. Who is this Yellow Kid, right? What is all this about? Well, this was a comic by influential comic strip, writer, illustrator, whatever, Richard F. Outcault. Apologies if I got the name wrong, but they're on the right. This was one of their comic strips, and basically, Yellow Kid is it was a sort of romanticized story, or comic strip about a very poor kid, the kind of kids that the author would see in New York City tenements in the 1890s. Okay, kids who didn't have a penny to their name, but were typically very generous with what they did have. They were often nice. They were very street smart in a lot of positive ways, like just, good at talking to people, not getting taken advantage of, not taking bullshit. But these kids were generally very optimistic considering the abject poverty that they were growing up in. So Yellow Kid here was sort of a stand-in for a lot of the poor kids in New York City who were still getting along and still optimistic and still, bright-eyed despite the circumstances. And this Yellow Kid here is actually the origin of the term yellow journalism. You might remember this, possibly from history class. Maybe maybe you've read about it since then too. But yellow journalism, a type of reporting characterized by exaggerated headlines, unverified claims, partisan agendas, and a focus on topics like crime, scandal, sports, and violence. Right? Sensationalism came to be known as yellow journalism during that period. Now these days we call it clickbait. This picture isn't supposed to, that's not a good example, but so you might have learned a little bit about yellow journalism in the past, but yeah, it's interesting and its place in history. Just to give you like a little bit of background, Joseph Pulitzer you've probably heard at least of the Pulitzer Prize. Joseph Pulitzer ran, among others, his main paper, Main Squeeze, newspaper was New York World. And his main competition was William Randolph Hearst. And Hearst ran one that was in San Francisco. He also ran the New York Journal. And this gentleman that we covered earlier, the author of Yellow Kid and the author of Hogan's Alley, the comic strip, he first worked for Pulitzer at New York World, then eventually got hired away to go to New York Journal. And again, this is was part of was kind of the genesis for that term yellow journalism that was used. Now, interestingly enough, I did read that, you know, yellow journalism, it was kind of, it talked so much about sensationalist headlines. It also discussed how, and I remember learning this in my history class. Apparently this is, a lot of historians these days think that this has been overplayed, but yellow journalism was even blamed for quite a long time as being one of the main factors that helped the U.S. get further into the Spanish-American War. Basically, help that become like a. It took it from just the you know, like a conflict that was just. I'm out of my depth here, but basically, like, there were a lot of people that thought yellow journalism, the stories that were coming out in papers such as this, that it basically got the newspaper reading folks just like crying for some blood. They wanted a war. They wanted the Spanish-American War. They weren't liking what the headlines that were coming out of Cuba. And I did read that's a lot of modern historians do question its role in leading us into that war, because the folks that would have actually pushed that war and would have actually the politicians, military leaders, things like that, they weren't just like sitting around reading the newspapers, and they weren't exactly always just answering, you know, to their constituency either, that might have been getting hyped up on this war. So I thought that was interesting, because I remember reading in high school that it was you know, some people thought was one of the major factors with the U.S. and us getting into of course, what would be known as the Spanish-American War. Now, bear with me. We'll get there. Now, Hogan's Alley would also be the name of a military and police firing range that was established around 1920 at Camp Perry in Ohio, in part established in part with the National Rifle Association, and it was named after Hogan's Alley, the comic strip, you know, with Yellow Kid. So, yeah, once again, so you had this firing range that was built around 1920, a shooting range, and here's an old picture here for you. Police officer practicing in Hogan's Alley at Camp Perry. I read that it was first used as a like a shooting competition, and then it became both a military training ground, and they would invite a lot of police departments there to come and do firearms training. Now, Camp Perry and the Hogan's Alley that we just learned about, it stuck around for a while, and in the 1940s and 50s, they were doing kind of similar to what we're going to see in our game here. They were doing shooting gallery training out of this thing, where they would bring up surprise targets that I read were hand triggered for a surprise target to pop up. Now, I wonder what they mean by hand triggered. I've got to imagine. I really, you know, I hope that hand is far away from this shooting range, and it's just doing something that makes it pop up. You know, like I didn't get a sense for what that actually meant for it to be hand triggered, but they would use surprise targets, you know, cutouts and things of that nature, portraits that they would pop up for the folks to try to blow them away. So this is a picture that was dated to 1940s or 50s. They weren't quite sure the origin, but during those decades, they were already using this shooting range, Hogan's Alley. They were already using this to do this kind of pop-up shooting gallery thing, you know, to train police. sounds familiar, right? Pop-ups, yep. Yeah, shooting gallery, having targets that pop up. It's going to be in the game that we're going to be talking about, Hogan's Alley. Now, here it is again in the 60s. This was before it was demolished. And you can see that they've built like a kind of a fake storefronts there, and that's what we were just seeing in that shot from mid-century. You know, there the pop-up targets. But yeah, they had basically built it as a first as a shooting range, and then it became a training ground, right? And again, they would have these sort of building facades here, and they would use those pop-up targets for folks to shoot. Now, if you allow me to go on a quick pop culture detour here, the name Hogan's Alley also shows up just a few years after that shooting range was built. In 1925, it shows up as a Warner Brothers silent movie. It's a silent film, Hogan's Alley. And that came out approximately 5 years after Hogan's Alley, the shooting range, was built. And then, of course, about 30 years or so around there, on from the Yellow Kid comic strip, the Hogan's Alley comic strip featuring Yellow Kid. So yeah. Now, okay, and if you're curious, right? Apparently the critics loved it. I had a slide with a critics. It was great. It basically said something about like you'll laugh as soon as the picture starts and all the way through. Hey, the critics loved it. Yeah. Now, I couldn't find the direct link to Hogan's Alley and our game today. However, of course, this movie is based off of the etymology is there. They come from the same original source, that Hogan's Alley comic strip. Now, later on, the FBI, when it would build its its training grounds in Quantico, Virginia, they would go on to build a Hogan's Alley. And they had been using that Camp Perry Hogan's Alley shooting range as well in the past. And whenever they built their new training ground in Virginia, they paid homage to that and they opened up a new Hogan's Alley. So this is FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. I love this sign, too. Law enforcement training exercises in progress. Display of weapons, firing of blank ammunition, and arrests may occur. If challenged, please follow instructions. Have a nice day. Good luck. Yeah. Interesting, right? And notice it says city limits, too. So, again, this was inspired by that original Hogan's Alley firing range. And over time, they built this thing up as a mock town to simulate an urban landscape for the FBI to run its training on. So they've got a drugstore, there's a post office, I believe there's a movie theater, I can't remember, but they have all these storefronts and things that they can run their kind of urban, arrest sort of tactics. Right? Now, oh, here it is. Oh, gosh, here it is. Sorry, it got a little out of order. That Hogan's Alley 1925 silent film. You'll start laughing when the picture opens and keep it up until the close. That's from the Print Ad Capital Journal from Salem, Oregon, 1926. Took them a little while to get the review in, I guess. Things moved a little bit slower back then. But yeah, once again, I thought that this was very interesting here. These storefronts, these facades that they built, and they do staff those, I think, with like training actors and stuff, so that they can go in and do arrests or have a firefight or what have you. Now, there was another kind of detour, a little bit of a red herring here, and this was in 1994. This goes all the way back, inspired by the original Hogan's Alley strip. There was a comic art magazine that got going, based out of published out of Atlanta. Apparently, they publish infrequently, but it's been a comic art magazine that's been running for quite a while. You can even see Yellow Kid up in the top left. you know, it's a similar one. What's it saying? Holy gee, it's about time. Oh yeah. Yeah, again, that one goes back to that original name as well. And speaking of going back to the original, this brings us full circle to Hogan's Alley, the Famicom title, which came out in 1984. Now, this was likely inspired by the Hogan's Alley training grounds on Camp Perry, the one that was built back in 1920. That's because that when the FBI built their headquarters, that didn't come until around 87 was when it was finally, they finally started doing their training out of that version of it. So this one had to harken back to that original Hogan's Alley shooting range, you know, back in Camp Perry, Ohio. I just thought all this was so cool. Yeah. And look, I mean, come on, you'll see the DNA of some of this in the game. Beautiful little purple cartridge here for the Famicom. I love all the colored cartridges they did. Dragon Quest 3 is a cool, black cartridge as well. And I've got a few others. When you look at like the Rockman all lined up, the Rockman titles 1 through 6, they've just got a little rainbow of color there. Beautiful stuff. They were so afraid of the NES seeming toyish that I think we missed a lot of this stuff, you know? But I do love that purple cartridge. So this thing came out in 1984 for the Famicom, and it wouldn't come out in the US and, North America until 1985. And it actually, and I do like this box art. To me, out of the black box artwork, I think this one's pretty cool. And again, it's just showing actual, kind of gameplay footage on it, or gameplay, up very up close and personal, but it's here. This was one of the 17 black box games, those original 17 games that came to the New York City test area in 1985, and then the second test area was Los Angeles in early 86. This was one of those 17 original black box games, and you can see them here for yourself. We've covered this a couple times. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. Of course, IMO being, just come on, right? The out of all the gems, the most gem of them all. Many sports titles, several of which are really good. But I had Excite Bike, Duck Hunt as a kid. We had baseball, Kung Fu, Super Mario Bros. That covers it for what I had as a kid. I had a different golf game, but yeah, I had quite a few of these. You can see those black box games everywhere. In 1985, this thing came to the Nintendo Versus system as well, which was Nintendo's arcade setup. And there's a lot of different versions of this. Basically, they would use a modified game pack, a Versus, specialized like Nintendo Versus game pack to kind of get an arcade setup. And many of these games that were on the Versus system were a little bit different from their console counterparts. I remember a Super Mario Brothers version, playing that in the arcade and kind of blowing my mind, like, wait a minute, I can play this game at home. And of course I went and put a quarter in and tried to play it at Chuck E. Cheese's, and it was a little different. Yeah, this was a stand-up version. Notice you can see the gun there attached. Very cool looking. The Versus system one was I read very popular as well. It by year's end it was topping. There was a magazine. I'll see if I think I have a note on it somewhere. But there was a magazine that this game was like the top arcade unit for kind of that for a good portion of 1985. I think for the year as a whole was the like #1 arcade game. Very popular, at least according to that magazine. And I think it was a magazine that kind of tracks like orders to these arcades and stuff. Now there were also like two like dual unit versions of this of the Versus system as well. And I love this promo here from Nintendo. This poster. I'm guessing the person on the right has just lost to their gaming rival. The person on the left celebrated, man. Look at it. Also, is that C-3PO? Oh, I just noticed this. Why is C-3PO on the right there? What? Well, hold up. I also gotta say, very punk to the gray streak in the hair. But I did not notice this C-3PO-esque costume here on the right. What is going on in this ad? I love this. I need a suit like this. Anyway, the guy that looks like he's from the future, or maybe I guess the past, a long time ago. Yeah, he's lost, you know. And our modern guy here, he's happy. Easily distracted. While we're on the topic of the Versus system, there was even a cocktail version of the Versus system. This one, I don't know if it made it out of Japan. I'd be curious, well, or how popular it was outside of Japan, but I do think this one had a lot of units moved in Japan. This cocktail version, and it is that Japanese Game Center arcade style of Versus too, where you sit, each person has a screen facing them, and you sit down, both facing at the same direction, but you've got your screen in between you. And I remember going to Tokyo many years ago and seeing that so many games were set up, and especially fighting games were set up in this configuration. And I thought it was really cool. It's quite a bit different from the sort of public execution style of having two or more people standing up side by side playing a game. And then, oh, oops, I accidentally got a little wide stance and I kicked you, or I elbowed you a little bit. Oops, I just got into the game. No, you're just sitting down. It's just you and your screen, and you can't even see the person you're trying to fight. I like that. Now, the console version of this would use the Nintendo Zapper, the light gun for, the NES. I should have grabbed the Famicom. Oh gosh, what did they call it? It had a different name. Binary Man showed some great photos. It even came with a holster. They had one that was like a Colt, an old Colt pistol. And it even came with a little holster and strap and stuff. Yeah, I'll have to go back and see if I can find that when Binary posted it. But I had this version of the Zapper. There would be the very orange version of this that would come out later once, I believe it was a law that was passed here in the U.S. about toy guns needing to look, different from, well, real guns, and to prevent any kind of accidents or anything. But, yeah, I had the old gray Zapper. Yeah. I never played Hogan's Alley as a kid. I didn't even know that this game existed. Sad to say, until at some point in adulthood, the not too distant past for me was when I finally learned about this game. We did have Duck Hunt, and I played a shit ton of Duck Hunt as a kid. That was always fun. And I always thought the dog was sad that I missed, and it wasn't until I got a little bit older that someone finally told me, nah, man, that dog's laughing at you, dude. That dog's having a laugh at your expense because you just missed a bunch of ducks. You let them all pass. I think the world was a little... I think that was part of that innocence kind of ruined for me, learning that the dog was not crying on my behalf because he was sad because he didn't get to go catch any ducks, and then instead he was mocking me. I feel like that was kind of tough on the ego, growing up sometimes can be hard, Now, both versions of this game, the Versus system and the console versions, NES, Famicom, I will do my best to kind of parse out some differences here. We are here to celebrate the Famicom's release, but I couldn't help myself but to talk a little bit about the Versus, Versus system version as well. many similarities, and I'm going to try to take you through some of that. But both versions of the game will show you a screen like this one. The text is white in the NES version, but they'll show you a screen like this one if you hang out on the title screen. And this is your basic gameplay here. These cardboard cutouts are going to pop out, and you've got to shoot the right ones. And it says at the top, shoot gangs only. So you want to shoot, and it's got 3 gangs, A, B, and C. And then you've got the, I think other, I was seeing other wording, and sometimes they would use innocence or what have you. But yeah, you have the, I love these 3 down here. Lady, professor, and police. And those are the 3 that you don't want to shoot. And, yeah, this professor too, man. It's he's like, dude, how did I get in the middle of this? You know, like, oh my God, you know, he's just trying to write his thesis on something boring as hell. And then next thing he knows, there's like a shootout around him, and he's, you know, we're going to see the professor in a little bit. He seems like a hapless fellow. I do feel for him. I see a little bit of myself in that professor too. Gonna be honest. And the lady too. Now, 3 game modes for the Famicom and NES version. That includes Game A, Game B, and Game C. And Game C is known as a Trick Shot. We'll talk about that one in a bit. Oh, well, a quick preview of it is that basically Trick Shot is there will be some cans on the screen. You've got to shoot them. When you shoot the can, it will bounce. You're trying to land that can onto certain platforms for certain amounts of points. It looked pretty tough. And then you have games A and B, Hogan's Alley A and B. A is that sort of blank wall that you've been seeing in some previous photos, where you just have, you know, the cardboard, the cutouts come out, and then, you know, and then they leave on the right side of the screen, and then a new set comes in, and the setting doesn't change. It's kind of like that indoor shooting range looking kind of thing. That is Hogan's Alley A. B is going to be a sort of an outdoors shooting gallery thing. You'll see it in a bit, but yeah, it's like a town setting, very similar to the Hogan's Alley 1920 shooting range and the one from 1987 in Quantico, Virginia, that the FBI runs. The Versus system kind of combined all of these 3 games, and I could go on and on and on about this, but just to I even had a note here. Yeah, it would basically do like 5 of the Hogan's Alley A, like sort of indoor setting, 5 of the sort of town setting, you know, moving between you know, a gun shop and a saloon, you know, other stuff. And then you would get a bonus round that would sometimes, I think, was this Trick Shot game. So the arcade game, the Versus version of this, combined all 3 of those games to be you know, one cool experience. This was from the Versus game here, right? Yeah, you just aim and fire to start the game, and it was funny. A lot of Zapper games would have a similar kind of structure to them to getting in. And dude, as I got into this and listened to some of the music as well, this is so of the time for Nintendo. And I had never played Hogan's Alley. Well, I still haven't played it at this point, but I barely knew about the thing and had not watched any footage other than what might come up in a little retrospective or something. And right away, some of the music from the game, it sounds like it was made the same afternoon that they wrote the Duck Hunt music and stuff. You'll see. That I have no proof of that, but it sounds very much in that same vein as Duck Hunt and you know, Clay Shooter and similar music. Now, Mode A, this is the one I was telling you about that's kind of an indoor setting here. This is Mode A, you know, blank wall, a series of cutouts in the NES versions. It's always 3, you know, Famicom as well. I'll use those words interchangeably, but yeah, basically a series of cutouts. 3 of them will come on the screen. They will all rotate, and you will have a short amount of time. That's what you're seeing up at the top of the screen there, in order to shoot the bad guys and not shoot the good ones. When they reveal themselves, you start blasting, baby. So, of course, in this one, if you want points and you don't want to miss, you're shooting the guy on the right there, leaving the other 2. But yeah, once they spin around, you got to figure out real quick who you got to blast. Every time there will be at least one bad guy to take out. Now, when you shoot it, it'll start spinning around, and the arcade game actually adds a little extra feedback with some points as well popping up on the screen. The arcade version, the Versus system, seemed to have a little bit better sound in some ways, but yeah, just a bit spiffier. After 15 rounds of this in the console version, the game congratulates you with the screen that says sharpshooter, which probably feels pretty good to especially like being a kid. That's when I'm blowing in at the end of the zapper and feeling just really good about myself. And apparently an additional 15 rounds of good shooting gets you super sharpshooter as well. And dude, I don't know, I'd probably be showing out if I saw that screen. That's like 30 rounds. Doing really well, performing well. A miss, right? Yep. If you don't hit the one that you were supposed to shoot, or multiple ones that you were supposed to shoot, that's going to count as a miss. And in the NES version, the Famicom version, 10 misses gets you a game over. I did see a 3-gun icon whenever I was looking at the Versus system. I'll go back and find a picture. Oh, I might have taken that out. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this one's actually from the Versus system. Yeah, I think, and I didn't see that explicitly stated, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, this was all so new to me, Nick, and I just loved going down this rabbit hole, man. I had no idea the history of this game and the etymology of even just the title Hogan's Alley. Also, just a side note, I hope I haven't said Hogan's Heroes yet, because as I was doing some of the making some graphics and stuff for this, I found at one point I had finished a whole graphic and I didn't even realize it, and I was about to post it, and then I saw that I had written Hogan's Heroes. It just came too easily, but yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. All right, the Versus system gives you some cute little cutscenes too. With the title Break Time, which I like. But yeah, Break Time. There wasn't a whole lot in the way of GIFs for this game, but I saw a short video showing Break Time, and our little professor there in the center was looking pretty nervous to be surrounded by a couple gangsters, and he was doing a little a little up and down with those legs that he's got. Very kind of strange, because it still shows his. Is he a cutout? Is he a person on this screen? I don't know what's going on, but yeah, he looked very nervous to be there, and I feel for our professor. He didn't know he'd be in the middle of a shooting range, Mode B was what I was saying with the outdoor locations. So you basically kind of travel through some sort of town locations, right? And these guys will pop up in the windows, on the balconies. And again, you've got to shoot the gangsters within a certain amount of time, or you get a miss. There's also innocents out there as well. And yeah, again, yeah, not just the balconies, the windows either. They'll also just pop out on the streets sometimes too. You really got to keep your head on a swivel for this one. And, those targets, I guess, are on their own kind of swivel too, but you got to be quick. It seemed like this game is very, of course, reaction based, and I would be interested to know to what extent. One thing I would have liked to have learned is to what extent is this game. Is it always the same targets every time you play it? How much are they mixing things up? That's one unanswered question I had about this, but But yeah, that mode B, the one that we're looking at here, you know, to me, that's kind of seeing where this game is at. Honestly, where the mode B, I think, is where it's at. Like, it reminds me a lot of 90s arcade shooters, shooting gallery ones. There was a Wild West one that I can't remember for the life of me. Not Wild Gunman, which was another game that came out around this era. But there was a Wild West one in the 90s that I remember playing in my arcade sometimes, and it used a lot of like live action video and stuff. But yeah, seems like this is to me kind of going to be a more fun game mode than the one where you're just kind of in that indoor shooting range. And honestly, like, just to go back 1 second, you know, like, I mean, this storefronts, the gun shop. Come on, you can see the DNA all the way back to this Hogan's Alley, the one previously too. Where's that one with the yeah, surprise targets from the 40s and 50s? The DNA of Hogan's Alley of so long ago is I don't know, alive and well in the coding of this game. I had no idea. Last but not least is the trick shot version of this game. That was mode C, trick shot, and also kind of, I think, functions as sort of a bonus round in the versus system version. But yeah, you're shooting these cans, and yeah, you're trying to get them onto these platforms for a certain amount of points. I saw some levels it had a 100 point bonus for that little. See the little brick there floating in the middle. Sort of towards the bottom, right above where it says R equals 1. It said like 100 points for that one, but I'm not seeing that here. But yeah, you're gonna have to hit these cans a few times to get them over into and score the points. Seemed like a pretty fun version as well. Well, let's watch a little video of Hogan's Alley. And honestly, I did a pretty extensive job of explaining the gameplay here, but let's watch a video and we'll skip around a bit. I'm going to give you guys a just a quick preview of what the game looks like. Volume okay? I'm going to take it down just a notch, actually, because some sounds can get pretty annoying. Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to say something actually. Let me pause this 1 second. Heads up, and if you're still with me, yeah, if you are photosensitive, I think that this video is going to be a lot. Right from the beginning, there's a lot of sprite flicker. I apologize that I didn't mention that beforehand. I meant to put a disclaimer in here, but this game is pretty heavy on the sprite flicker. Also, being a light gun game, there's flashing as well. That's how the light gun operates. Pretty cool science behind that. There's some great videos, great explainers on that on YouTube. But anyway, sorry, should have given that heads up. With that being said, I would like to show the beginning again. It's some heavy flashing, so final warning. Look at how bad the sprites flicker as you get into this. I could not get a screenshot, understandably, of all three of those top sprites because they won't all three appear at the same time. But you should have seen me trying to hit the space bar, thinking if I just timed it right, maybe I could get all three of them on the screen at the same time, which is not how screen flicker works, you know. Lovely sounds as the targets come out. So again, this is game mode A. I would have lost that one. I thought I saw a bad guy on the right, but so I've already got at least one miss. For a second, I thought we shot the professor on that one. And again, 10 misses equals a game over. for the sake of time, and this is a pretty simple gameplay, I'll skip ahead. We'll take a look at each of the game modes. Here we are in game mode B, sort of the town setting. Does that music, if you're familiar with this stuff, that is so Duck Hunt-esque to me. It hurts. Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Yeah. I know I can dwell on these videos a little too long, but that was a pretty extensive explanation of the gameplay here. It looks fun. And I haven't played Wild Gunman either, which is you know, sort of a Wild West setting. Some similar kind of shooting gallery elements to that one. Also dueling too. I only knew about Duck Hunt. That was the only light gun game I knew about as a kid. It's pretty sick, right? Looks pretty fun. All right, now let's go check out. Let's go check out Mode C, Trick Shot. So again, you're going to try to hit these cans, keep them up in the air so that you can get some points. You can see that 5,000 pointer is kind of tough to hit. You got to let a can almost go all the way to the bottom often in order to get it into that section. We got quite a sharpshooter here. I'd like to get this game sometime. I don't have a CRT though, which would mean I can't use a light gun. So I got to find somebody's grandma who's like trying to please, if you can just pick up this CRT. Well, they wouldn't even call it a CRT. If you can just pick up this old TV, please, you know. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, Nick. And you know, gosh, did I even get it? I forgot to get it. I did pull a video, actually. And I bet I can swap it out in a second of another game that references this. In fact, let me just go ahead and look at this. I pulled a video and I forgot to set this up. WarioWare. WarioWare, a couple of versions of WarioWare have done some content here. I'm gonna turn it down way low just in case. And let's see. I'll fix the sound in just a bit. But yeah, we've got and the video. But forgive me, guys. Thank you for your patience. But yeah, we've got WarioWare here doing some Hogan's Alley. This was the original one for Game Boy Advance, I believe, right? Love me some Wario. It's a big part of Nintendo history that I was just not really privy to. Oh, I love this. The sounds are pretty cool too. Oh, that's a little loud. I apologize. Oh, cool, Nick. Yeah. I noticed that they were in it looked like this was like a different section of WarioWare. I only played that game, you know, like just kind of as it was demoed out at Walmart or something. I never got my hands on. I never owned a WarioWare myself. They always looked fun, but yeah. Now let me kick the music back in. Now I've got one more pop culture reference to you, and maybe some of the names I dropped earlier, pop culture references we haven't gotten to just yet. And here comes a big one. This one kind of blew my mind. There's a digital artist by the name of Archangel who produced a piece, an art piece known as I Shot Andy Warhol in 2002. And it was a modified NES cartridge that he made his own ROM hack, essentially, of Hogan's Alley and called it I Shot Andy Warhol. Again, I wasn't familiar with this artist. He did some other video game stuff as well. It seemed like a lot of his stuff was in like a mixed media, a lot of kind of digital There was a couple things that were video game related, including one called one exhibit or one art piece he did called Super Mario Clouds, that was just cloud. Like, I guess he'd made it so that the clouds in Super Mario, they would just float by, and that was it. It was just like the sky, I suppose, and just a nice day in the Mushroom Kingdom with some clouds floating by, and I guess it would run sort of in perpetuity. So really cool, like, you know, video, digital, and kind of computer, like, mixing these mediums. I wanted to look into this artist a bit more. Archangel is the name, all one word. But yeah, they were influenced by, they mention, among others, like Namjoon Paik, who was this really cool artist who did a lot of video exhibits, including a huge one that I got to see when I was in DC, of a big neon like map of the United States, and each of the 50 states and territories, District of Columbia, etc., they each had their own little TVs, or big TVs, sometimes many of them, and each state would be playing its own kind of, it would just have its own video playing, and those videos often had something to do with that state, or events, or you know, famous figures, things like that. And it's a huge exhibit. It's at the Smithsonian. Which one? I mean, the like main, like the one that's like, yeah, mostly I think modern art or something. It's right there on the forgive me, it's been a while. I used to live in DC, but it's right there on the National Mall, and it's the like Smithsonian Art Museum. I think that's the title, but it's a huge exhibit, and it's just mind-blowing to walk up. Also speakers coming out of every state as well. So it's just huge, like, mixed media thing. And anyway, Archangel was apparently like kind of influenced by some of that, and I'm big into tangent territory, but shit, you know, it's all gamer adjacent, baby. Well, this I Shot Andy Warhol was a reference to the 1996 biographical drama I Shot Andy Warhol, which was about someone who did shoot the artist Andy Warhol, Valerie Solanas. She attempted to murder him in 1968, and there's actually a crazy, like, they interviewed her like in the immediate aftermath of it, like, and she's it's crazy that exists. Like, I don't know if there's just a news guy there. Like, I need to know the circumstances. I was in a rush today, but anyway, she tried to kill Andy Warhol. They had worked together on a movie. There was some other stuff about, like, how I guess at one point she had brought a script for a movie over there, and it had gotten lost, and that was her only copy. And yeah, there was some other, like, personal drama between them, and she tried to kill him in 1968. And here's the game. Here's Archangel's I Shot Andy Warhol, with Game A, the gallery, Game B, City, and Game C, Soup Shot, which, you know, he often did those Campbell's soup. You know, that was like a big motif, a recurring theme in his work. Now, in this version, Archangel has replaced the gangsters with Andys and tells us to shoot Andys only. And Andy B, because of the sprite flicker, hey, true to the original, because of the sprite flicker, Andy B could not, the middle one could not be displayed, but it did look like the others, as you can probably imagine. And then the innocents, the ones that you don't want to shoot, include, well, the Pope, Flavor Flav, and when I went to Archangel's website, he made sure to leave a parentheses there to let you know, pre-MTV Flavor Flav. You know, hey, pre-MTV Flavor Flav. Okay, well, we knew him for the music. And Colonel Sanders, who the artist wanted to remind us was actually a real person and not just a guy that's on the KFC buckets. What an all-star lineup. The Pope, Flavor Flav, and Colonel Sanders. And the gameplay was, you know, the same as Hogan's Alley, right? Interesting stuff. Here's a demo of it. Someone playing this game as well, which I just love. This setup here is cool looking, like up against this like I don't know, like very, I don't know, what is like a granite wall, like what is this here, you know, or just like a concrete wall, or it looks very cool. Just this setup here I think would be pretty surreal walking up on, and having the NES on top of the TV, and you grab the you know, you grab the zapper, and then you're trying to shoot Andy Warhol, you know. Yeah, I mean, come on, this is cool. I'm gonna just blow it up a bit. I gotta be careful with it. Blow it up, shoot. No. Lots of gunplay today. But yeah, and you can kind of see the credits barely written underneath the TV there to the left. I think that's where he's just writing the title of it and stuff. My kind of art exhibit. Seems like something that would get you thinking, you know. But yeah, once again, that is yet another strange twist in this Hogan's Alley story. Oh yeah, I shot Andy Warhol, and then the title screen. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Anyway, man, this was a crazy rabbit hole. I enjoyed going down it. I had no idea that the FBI, the Spanish-American War, yellow journalism, silent movies. Gosh, what else? Yeah, Andy Warhol. I didn't know it could all come together. And it all, look at what's in the center, right? Today's featured game, Hogan's Alley. Happy birthday to Hogan's Alley. Let me get that picture up here one more time. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Let's get the box art. Happy birthday to Hogan's Alley. 40 years old, the Famicom version. Damn. Time flies. And, guys, that's gonna be it for the good old days. That's it. Let me pull up the old P. Where to go? Let's wrap him up. Okay, I shot Andy. You can go down now. Thank you. All right, that's it, guys. That's it for Gamer Good Old Days, June 12th, 2024. Not my smoothest presentation, but hopefully fun nonetheless. Yeah, thanks, Nick. All right, guys. I think with that being said, I think we'll take a break, and when I come back, I think we'll play a little Dragon Quest 3. So yeah, we'll wrap it up, play some DQ3, and then I think we'll call it a night. But yeah, that was a big spotlight there. That's why I was late. There's a lot of stuff. But yeah, that, and today was the first full day of work I could get in a while. But
Thanks for coming out, guys. This rocks. A Wednesday, huh?
all right, guys, I'm gonna take a short break. You guys should get one too. In fact, I'll take a good little one, 4 or 5 minutes, something like that, to reset myself. We'll come back. We'll do some Dragon Quest 3. You should get a break too. All right, guys. I'll BRB. Hope to see you soon. Ayo, gamers, good to see you. Oh man, woo! Sweating it out here in the gamer lifestyle dungeon. I mean, lounge. Slip of the tongue there. All right, good to see you guys. Happy Wednesday. That was fun, man. I enjoyed that a lot, and I hope that that's you know, I try to figure out what I can clip, what I can't. I think doing a deep dive in the history, man. That's I don't know. That's like what kind of right in my wheelhouse. I enjoyed that. I hope you guys did too. You know, the original Parvinator. You know, I'm like the second one. But my dad was a history teacher himself, so you know, I'd like to think he's pretty proud right now. I'm not gonna send him the link to this. He doesn't need to see this, but maybe I'll tell him about it someday. I'm sure if I mention Hogan's Alley, he'd know what's up. Maybe not so much about the game, but all the other aspects of it. All right, guys, let's drop into some DQ. All right. So where we last left off, we got a boat recently, and that really just opened up a bunch of stuff for us to do. We can, at this point, I was doing a bit of leveling up because I found some metal slimes that are really good with, you know, they're worth a lot of experience. So, I've been forgetting about my soundboard. It gets neglected these days. It's sad.
Thanks for coming out, guys. This rocks. A Wednesday, huh? Yeah, none of you motherfuckers have responsibilities, I'm guessing.
I also have a bunch of sounds I've been meaning to get onto the soundboard recently that I have not found the time for, so that's coming soon. You know what? I do think I kind of want to check out that tower that's up here, though. So let's head towards that for a bit and just see what we can find in there. Why don't you fight the rams, actually? Benji's got a weapon that will hit, you know, multiple enemies of a same type. So we'll go against the ram Moors. Try to save some MP this time if I can think about it. Let's see. I'll hit this killer ape with an ice bolt, maybe. Just... There we go. Should be able to get these guys out in the next round. Damn. Some attack should get it done. Cool. We can change jobs too once we hit level 20, although I don't think we should do that just yet. I do think I'd like to get a few more levels under us and see if we can learn some more spells, because we're getting into some pretty... some of these folks are kind of getting into some kind of high-level spells for them, and I don't know how... You know, apparently, like, when it comes to changing their job class, you know, there's some pros and cons, because, well, I mean, it's eventually, it all settles out to be very pro, but if I go and I change a character's class, or their job, yeah, their vocation, they will drop down to level 0, rather level 1. But they keep half of their stats that they're at right now, which, you know, would be much higher stats than what you would expect from a, you know, at least some of those stats would be much higher than what you would expect from a level 1 character. So you do have to level them up again, but it's kind of the Pokemon thing where it's not as hard to get them. Getting to level 20 the first time is going to be a lot harder than getting another character up to level 20, because I can just go and try to, you know, as long as they don't die, as long as they don't get targeted and hit, in a matter of a handful of battles, that first battle, you know, they're going to be gaining a ton of experience and a lot of levels. So it's that same kind of thing as trying to raise up a weak Pokemon. That's also why they warned me in this game not to change the job class of too many people at once, because I'll have a lot of dead weight on the team. Bunch of level 1s. And that, you know, that doesn't help. Alright, we got us a little dungeon here, too, with a warp tile. Where is this going to take us? I'll be right back. Let me turn this fan off. Can't hear me, gang. It's worth sweating if you get to hear this the beautiful music of this game, you know. Oh. I like the shadower in the middle there. It's a cool little... I like that it's like... It sort of dissolves at the bottom. Yeah, I got this stream started pretty late. That's on me, but that's okay.
The Parvinator.
He's got a hot hand!
Let's talk to this old man. What are you doing? Do not disturb my meditation. Fair. Sorry, old man. Did not mean to disturb your meditation. Well, can I talk to you a second time, though? Disturb you even further? Maybe a third time, and that makes you fight me or something? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, moving on. You know, I streamed on Monday, and I had a kind of a rough go of it. To be honest, I was playing Mario Tennis, and I started to struggle a bit with the game. I was trying to win with, were we doing Shy Guy? Hey-Ho, I think. And in between, yeah, hey, it just wasn't my day. You know, it just wasn't my day. I couldn't finish the Star Cup like I wanted to. Some days that bugs me more than others, and I feel like I just got a little bummed out over the course of the stream, and I think sometimes that's a combination of just having been really stressed and been out from being sick and stuff. Well, that's what's happening here, but, you know, I also had a realization that I like the streams that are pure gaming, you know, without the prepared content. But I think there at this point, since have started doing these more prepared streams and doing the features and stuff like that, I've come to really like that aspect of things. And I think doing 2 days back to back of just the pure gaming, I got kind of a late start again on Monday, but I think it was a combination of like kind of low attendance and then not doing so great in the game, and I just started to feel kind of bummed, you know. And I hate to like you know, things don't hinge upon like everything shouldn't hinge upon like a viewership or, you know, a number on a screen, how many people are watching, but yeah, I understand. I think that this channel is in a bit of an identity crisis, and I'm trying to work on that, because I'm trying to find a schedule that will work where I can have those days that are just pure gaming. But I think they need to be, you know, not a couple days back to back. And in fact, I don't know about streaming Sundays and Mondays. That 1-2 punch, the 2 days back to back. Monday is often really low attendance stream, and a part of me thinks maybe kind of work on a different schedule, and not having to do that 2 days back to back kind of keeps me fresh as well. And, you know, I don't know, the Monday streams might be on the chopping block to be replaced by another day. I don't know, we'll have to see. Trying to figure things out. It's yeah, and it's complicated because, you know, that, like I said, everything shouldn't revolve around like viewership, a number of who's watching, things like that. However, this is, at this point, we're talking a lot about vocations in this game, and this is my main vocation, is what I'm doing right here. And the hope is that I can build something up from it that will help to sustain me and help pay the bills to an extent. But it's tough going. And I know that there's a long game that I gotta play as well, and that can be tough when you on the individual streams where you feel like you're not playing well, and you know, and it's like that double whammy of like I'm not playing that great, and I don't have anybody to talk to, you know. So it's like doing some problem solving, trying to see what I can figure out for myself. And yeah, I appreciate you guys and your support. And you know, for a long time I was just streaming, and I really started to change it up kind of at the end of last year, and it's all, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't think many people do in general. So I don't know, gonna keep working at it. And I didn't mean to use Blaze more. I meant to use one of the ones that'll hit multiple people, you know? Yeah. Right, Nick, and I've thought about that because, like, I have to figure out for myself what works. I need to watch my HP. Because this is not, I don't say this out of any, like, ego, but this is not a typical stream. Just in terms of format, like there's no better or worse, I'm not saying that. It's just like there are many streamers that the kind of default format is really, yeah, just kind of this, and then that intro page where I'm just talking and I'm hanging out with you guys here, you know. And most streams are hours and hours of this, and
Dragonquest.
This. Not so much gamer news, you know? Not so much good old days, you know? And because of all that, I try to find examples to learn from, or, you know, best practices, things like that. So yeah, I really got to just keep testing things out and
Dragonquest.
And figuring, you know, trying to figure it out for myself. And I would like to do a really candid talk sometime with the supporters and stuff, and you know, the folks that have been around for a while, and you know, I would like to do kind of a candid talk, and, you know, peel back the layers of the bullshit and just get right down to it. But yeah, just, I mean, really pick people's brains, and I've been saying this for a while, but yeah, thanks, Nick. Yeah, I gotta try to test things out, see what works. And the thing is, people do respond really positively to those prepared segments. And often when I'm doing those segments, people will stop in, they'll check the stream out, and they'll stick around for a bit. Often I've noticed that, like, I get feedback from that, and I've had people, you know, join and ask, did I miss the good old days, or you know, gamer news or whatever. And that tells me something there is working. But you know, I just got to keep at it, I think. And I think it's very easy to get locked into a routine, and I think I've been a little reluctant to experiment like that. I think I need to, you know. I'll use bang. That hits everybody, or at least tries to. I like these great beaks. But yeah, you know, that's what's tough about, like, you know, going on the Twitch subreddit or something, and, you know, it's a different types of streams, you know, would have different best practices or things that would work, or, you know, and this isn't that kind of stream where I just sit here for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, and I'm, you know, the people that do this, and, you know, they can be incredibly entertaining for that time. This is not a put down at all, because it's just different strokes, and not everybody should be doing the same thing. But it makes it hard to like look to other examples, I think. And I will say this, I would like to keep really pushing things through to the end of the year. And I promised myself that I would use the rest of this year. And it's not like once January 1st, 2025 rolls around, like the decision is made that day. And it's not like that. It's just, there's a realization of like, well, dude, you've only been doing something kind of like this since the very end of last year. And those of you who've been around for a bit, you watch that ramp up, and you watch the, you know, we might actually want to fall down here. Could be worth a shot. So it's like, I really haven't been doing it for that long, you know, and I think I would like to get the rest of this year in before I do any sort of experiments along the way, you know, not just doing the same exact thing, but alas, it's not sustainable forever, you know. Especially sadly, especially if there's not some like significant amount of growth, you know, in that time. And hey, you know, maybe this becomes at that point, maybe it becomes a once a week thing, you know, as I go to my, my other main job, you know, since, that future job, you know, we'll see. I don't want to be negative about it. I am feeling optimistic and positive. It just, stuff takes time. What's this? A tightrope. Glad it didn't break and just send me to the bottom there. Another warp tile. This looks new. 3 sets of stairs. Let's go bottom of the cross first. Visiting the stations of the cross here. Went to the bottom one first. Ooh. Okay, before I go any further, we need to heal. Oh my gosh. I think one of the things that, and I mentioned this on Monday too, I think that one of the things that I'm realizing too, and there's a good amount of butthurt in this, I think. You know, this is not a great way of considering things, but, you know, sometimes I feel a bit frustrated because there's the realization that if I really just did a very straightforward stream, again, that kind of like several hours, and I'm just hanging out, I'm just cool bin, you know, and there's that realization that I would be, by some measures, further along, or the stream would be more successful in some measures, but you know, if I just played it like a standard stream and I didn't do all this other stuff, but that doesn't interest me, you know, like it doesn't scratch the itch that that I get when I we're flying high and we're doing, you know, some of those segments, and I can really lean into who the Parvinator is. So that, like I said, there's some butthurt in that. I think there's there's no way to know. Like that's not a definite. It could be its own kind of cognitive distortion there. But I think sometimes when I get frustrated, I think about like, damn, if I just did a standard ass stream, and I enjoy a lot of those. Like, you know, Nick, you put on a fun one. Ichigo, you know. These are streams that like you guys can go for a while and keep it really entertaining and do your thing. And I think at times I'm kind of like, well, you know, when I'm starting to question it, I'm like, why are you continuing down this really tough path with a lot of work outside of the stream? If the numbers aren't there, and it comes back to what I get out of it, I think, and you know, yeah. Scratching some kind of itch, some kind of drive, or you know. And I would rather to have those kind of prepared segments and lean into the Parvinator and all that. I'd rather do that and fail than do the other thing and just kind of have a middling sort of, you know, more success in terms of numbers, but it not really, you know, do anything. Not like I would feel happier at the end of the day, I think. Sticking to my instinct, or you know, going with my gut, and yeah, enough about that. I don't want to get myself bummed out again, but yeah, I'm working on it, man. Ooh, Sky Dragon, look at this. I don't think we've seen the Sky Dragon. Yeah. I have, Nick, because I think some of this stuff would play a lot. Some things would play a lot better in a recorded format, you know. Yeah, like good old days, or you know. And I think some of it too comes down to expectations. Like something that I'm kind of learning is that. I just think, especially when you find a video on YouTube, a gaming video, and you see a thumbnail that I have or something, I think people click on it and they can't get past the initial expectation of, I thought this was some scripted, not live, you know, recorded content, curated, edited, scripted, not originally done in a live context. And I think some people, I think when you get in, and that's what you're used to, because most video game content is that. It is, you know, scripted content. I think that people don't know what to think sometimes, you know, and a little bit of that is like, okay, well, I want to find the people who do like that, you know. I don't want to change everything. I can't make every decision based on what I think people are going to like, you know. But yeah, I have thought about that, you know, and I think I could start mixing that in some. I will say it's also hard to take something that was recorded live and get something that does resemble more of a you know, like it, you know, it's hard to find a middle ground of doing something live and then having it still be a good video once I do a bit of editing and put it up on YouTube, you know. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's something to think about. Yeah. because I think it is like, wait, what's going on here? When, you know, and I love the live nature of it all so much. But I think I could mix in some stuff that's recorded and I don't clip enough either. Even the recorded stuff I don't clip often enough. Ooh, they're strong. So they, you know, no one's gonna find something if it's buried in a 3 or 4 hour stream. Understandably, like you just, that's, you know, it's not gonna work. People find it, but it's much more rare. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Yeah. I know, and that's kind of the tough thing, is that there is a realization of, like, you put a lot of work into this, an amount of work that is not as much of a, it wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't quite be the amount of work that we would do, that I'd have to do a recorded, really, you know, well-paced kind of recorded, you know, off-stream kind of thing. It's still not that level, because editing and all that stuff really does take a long time, but it's enough. You know, I actually mentioned it to a friend of mine. He's like, whoa, like you're basically preparing like three days worth of coming up, you know, like news or a good old days thing. Like you're doing this 3 times a week in a live presentation and 3, and he was kind of like, he was just kind of surprised, I think, at the level of, like, well, dude, you're basically doing like a regular podcast, or a regular, not just regular, but, you know, 3 times a week you're doing, you know, like, that's like a, I don't know, like, shoot, you know, SNL is once a week. I'm not comparing myself to them. What we do here is much better. But yeah, like, imagine the work that would go into something like that. And, this is, you know, several times a week. I think the workload gets me, you know. And then that can be its own kind of bummer when I don't come around and clip something, and it's like, that was a lot of work. Sure, I loved the live thing, and I loved hanging out with everybody and the discussion. I loved that moment, but it kind of goes away, you know, after that. And there's a beauty to that, and then but if you're trying to grow a YouTube or Twitch channel, there's you need to, you know, at a certain point, you can't just always be about the ephemeral, just the live, man, doing it right here with everyone in this moment, you know, like, what do we have except the now? Yeah, at a certain point, that's great for, you know, I lost my train of thought, yeah. Clearly, I'm like going... Try to select a move here. I think testify, heal yourself first. Yeah, and that you make a really good point, Aiton. And the last time I played Mario Tennis, I actually said out loud, like, I think I'm burned out on this game, and I think that might be. I think that's where, like, maybe some days I need to only do like the kind of, if I really like this live format of things, you know, and I think that on those days, it's hard to figure out what to do with the game. And almost on those days, maybe it's even better to just kind of mostly do the segments. And I struggle with the combination of segments plus the gaming. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The pacing can be difficult. How much of the game do you play? You know, how long does a segment go? And a part of me wonders if I don't just like do a separate thing that's like Parvination, and it's the show side of things, that think of it as a podcast, and then the whatever, one day or 2 days or whatever outside of that, I'm just kind of doing this, which I enjoy as well, playing the games and without the preparation. Yeah, I think my patience is pretty much done with Mario Tennis as well. And I hope that I would have been at the point that I was at, or, you know, the milestone I was trying to get done. I thought I would have been there earlier, but yeah, I think I'm just burned out on it. It's a good call. Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I don't mean to sound too complaining. It's more just like, I just want to let you know, it's like, I try to build something, and I want it to be good, I want it to continue, and I want to find ways to make it successful, but it's too much work. It's too much work if there isn't some kind of like, I mean, end of the day, I got to be able to like, start supporting myself more, I've been, I had savings from previous jobs that allowed me to make the step towards doing the things that I did. I did a bit of voice acting that was successful early on, or, somewhat successful early on, but then, died out over time. Like, I've dabbled in these other kind of entertainment modes, and I decided to jump all in on this thing, and yeah, it's people do respond more to the to the prepared content, I also notice people will come in, watch the segments, and then it will often tick down over time as I play the game. Fridays are a little different with that, but I think it's just Friday. There's more people, yeah. I think so too. I think I can't do the prepared stuff more than like once or twice a day, but yeah, have it be a regular thing, and then gaming. Can I do it all under the same channel? Some people might wonder about that. I think I can, because you hear stuff about like, or many folks will they're much bigger than me, but they will kind of part out the kind of the types of content that they do under different channels. I don't think I can't think about that sort of thing, I think, unless there's like a big amount of growth. Otherwise I fracture my already small audience, yeah. Well, thank you for that feedback. Yeah. That's definitely it's important to hear, and I have been struggling because I've been wanting to do days that are just that, we'll call it podcast style, Parvination. I don't know. I've even thought that when I do that as well, I could even start something as small as like numbering those as episodes could be beneficial as well. So when someone clicks on it, they know that they're getting some kind of live prepared, but still a little off the cuff, or there's certainly a level of not reading off of a script. I have bullet points sometimes, but yeah, I'm sure that's no surprise there that there's no long script, you know. But yeah, thank you for that. That's good feedback and lines up with what I have said I want, but I just haven't moved towards it. Yeah. Date. Yeah, I actually started to do a date today even. That's good feedback. I almost made in a thumbnail. I deleted this 3 or 4, I wrote something and then deleted it, like what I would, the title for the thumbnail. And I actually, one of them I had was for today's date, and I thought about rolling with that today. So that's it. I appreciate you guys talking through this, because this is actually what I've been looking for and helpful, and aligns to a lot of the things I've been thinking and ideas that I have thought I've wanted to go to, but have just been afraid to try, yeah, with the episodes, right? Maybe someone wouldn't even want to jump into a number, yeah, like you see someone's on episode number, 102, that you might think, okay, I'm jumping too much into a prepared thing here. What am I going to have to go watch all the previous episodes? So I think that makes sense with the date. Yeah. Yeah. Good points. Thank you guys. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep. And some of it is news. So, of course, yeah. Some of it is just news that would occasionally not be interesting or be outdated within a day or two. But that would help so much, I think, with live viewership, and yeah. Yeah, the good old days I've thought about that myself, of like covering the things that came out on this day in history. It's not certainly at this point I've narrowed it down to like one a day, which makes it more sustainable. We didn't hit the rope. We walked off the side, but yeah, that's a thing that will have to become more rare, because I could see myself when I get there maybe wanting to redo 1 or 2 of the games that were like at the end of this, that will be at the end of the year, but I don't want to repeat that kind of stuff too often. It would be more just like, I gave this one a really quick run. It was when I was first starting out. Let me do a spotlight on this game instead, or something along those lines. But yeah, at a certain point, you've covered all the games you want to cover that came out on this day in history. What are you gonna do? Wizard, let's heal you. I think I also really want to try to find some people who do something along this line, some kind of video game, related, content with a comedic lean. I would really like to find some folks that I can work with as well, and have some things where I'm not the only person here on camera. It's its own kind of limiting thing, and I like streams, there's a lot of streams I watch that are just pretty much solely run by one person, and yeah, speaking of contracts, part of why I have been reluctant is just because when I'm working by myself, I have total control of everything, you know? I don't, in fact, I have had some stuff that like I thought I would be collaborating sooner, but as I got into it, I found that I didn't want to relinquish the control that I would need to let go of in order to work with other people, because it's not just about me at that point. And it, you know, to an extent, they need to know, they need to know and will have a say as to sort of what's going to happen. And I think I just realized kind of early into doing some planning and stuff that like, man, this is going to be tougher than I thought, because I have just gotten used to this being my thing and my, you know, just having complete control. And I found it hard to want to relinquish that. And I'm gonna hit up Mr. Beast, you know, get him. He and I could collab. I think we could really get a beautiful thing going, you know. The kids will love it too. Think about all the kids we turned on to retro games, you know. Hey, not just like speed runs of Mario 64 or something, you know. They're already into that. No, yeah, it's a tough thing working with others. I do have some folks that they wouldn't be that difficult, and you know, it's hard to put it together. Well, when I say it wouldn't be that difficult, what I mean is they would be willing to help, you know, and at the very least, like, come on and guest, you know, come on as a guest, or you know, subject area expert about, you know, one game or something, you know. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Nick. Hey, I might need that contact someday. Let's play just a little bit more. I wanted to see if I could get past was it random encounter number 30,234. I'll see if I can get past them and make it to some sort of story. Something that resembles Mr. Yeast. Yeah, he's making that dough, man. Absolutely. I'm just stopping myself. Everything that comes to mind, I'm just like, no, you know, let it go, let it go, let it go. You get the Mr. Beast army after me. I imagine there's such a thing, but this is the dead end here. Oh. Let's make sure we don't get wiped. I probably got another 15 minutes or so in me, and I think we'll hang it up by about the bottom of the hour. I'm curious, just, you know, you've talked quite a bit about TV and media and stuff, and I got the sense that you've either had some experience in it or done some kind of writing, or you just tend to know a lot about that world, you know. Yeah, you and Nick have given some great feedback tonight. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I don't know how I get on. Maybe there's something I can fall down and get to the other side of that. It's just, okay, there's the cross. There's the old man meditating. cool. Another meta night. Thank you, guys. There's other people like, damn, every time I turn into that guy's channel, he's like sounding depressed. He's... Yep, thank you. Chest there. Have I talked to her? The Zen book is somewhere in this tower. Whoever reads it will be able to become a sage. Okay, this is like a hidden key item. I read about this earlier. This will let us to become a sage. You can that's like apparently a really good magic user. They have high agility, so they move first. Got the emote battle kicking off. Oh yeah. And they're I think that they're really like they're well balanced between, you know, healing magic, defensive magic, and then you know, like magic to you know, buff yourself, buff the enemy, etc., etc. So, you know what's funny is, so you can find this Zen book, I guess, and that will allow any character to become the sage. Or one of the job classes you can pick is sometimes, I always forget the names, but in some versions they call it the gadabout. Let me see, DQ3 job classes. There's one that's basically like a jester kind of, and it acts like Pokemon that are too high level, and that it often doesn't listen to you. It's like too busy taking a nap or just like, you know, doing some juggling or something. And it's the goof off. It's sometimes known as the goof off or the jester. Also, some versions call it the gadabout. And it's a terrible job class. They have, I think, high agility, but like, again, they're not listening to you most. Oh no, they have high luck and high vitality, but they're not usable many times because they're not taking your commands. So yeah, goof off or jester. So the caveat is they can naturally go to be a sage at level 20 if you take them to Dharma. They don't have to have this Zen book that I guess is supposed to be hard to find. And that is kind of one of the challenge. A lot of people will say, like, after a first playthrough, that's a fun challenge, is to put one of those on your team. And you're essentially getting through the game with like 3 1/5 character kind of, up to level 20, and then you can instantly make it a sage, and it would be probably become your best, you know, one of your best characters at that point. So the give and the take. Well, at least we know that that's here. I should have talked to her so much sooner. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's a delayed gratification. Yeah, like the kind of thing that many people might be afraid to do on a first playthrough, like me. And it wouldn't be recommended for a first playthrough, but for an advanced player, yeah, you get that delayed gratification. Still got a good ways to go in this game, too. Wait, not Blazemore, do Firebane. I think what I'll do is I will change some characters around to get some more balanced folks. I think I would like to turn Testify, our priest, is what they call them. I'd like to turn them into a wizard. Or mage, they might call it a mage or magician in this game, I'm not sure, but Yeah, basically turn them from essentially white magic into black magic. They would go down to level 0, but they would, level 1, but they would keep half of their stats, and then learn a whole new set of magic and be a very balanced magic user, you know? Yeah, right. Yeah, we're on the way. I think in DQ8, I believe, is when they started, like, you're on a 3D field and you can avoid encounters, you know, no more random encounters. This is definitely the case playing Dragon Quest XI. Where's this sin book? Let me get upstairs, and I think I probably gotta call it for a night. But I want to try to get upstairs one more time. There's also that there's that section where the floor is ripped out, and clearly we need to be on the right side of that. And I don't know if that means falling down from there or what, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is a spell or something I could use to cut down or to stop the random. Well, it's an old ass game, so I would and wouldn't be surprised if that existed. But I didn't even know that, like, I had been using this spell to, like, warp between towns, and I didn't realize if I get in a pinch, I can use, it's called like the Wyvern Wing. I can use that. And get out of there, you know, escape should I ever need to. Yeah, it's probably something that would could lower the encounters at least. Yeah, I need that repel. Getting tired, man. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. Got a headache.
Donkey.
I'm just getting clicky. I'm pressing the buttons. By the way, one of the favorite controllers of all time. As much as I was used to the Super NES color scheme, I always lament, once I learned about it, I lament that they changed it to those, like, kind of purplish buttons, which looks cool, but it doesn't have the differentiation of this and the, you know. Also, the first time someone pointed out that the Nintendo 64 controller kept this same, you know, red, blue, green, yellow scheme, the Super Mario World scheme, the Super Famicom color scheme, that the 64 controller kept that. I had just, even though I knew about those two controllers at that point, I hadn't put that together. That, yeah, that is, that's what they did for the 64 as well. I mean, obviously I knew it had these colors, but I didn't think about how that was a continuation of the same scheme. And all the a lot of the like logos for Super Famicom, you know, it had the buttons there and it had the colors to it. Let's see if I have a game handy. Super Famicom game. And they would do that same button kind of logo here in the West, but it was without the colors usually, you know. It was I feel like the logo didn't make as much sense. You had the 4-button configuration, but it missed the a big part of what, I don't know, big part of what made the design pop. Yeah, guys, I think I'm starting to get a pretty rough headache, so I think I should probably just wrap. Yeah. That is a good point that it is an evolution. They're both evolutions of their previous system in some ways. And with the Super Famicom, you know, having a like a different color scheme to the console as well. This was the logo I was talking about. And I remember seeing this logo for Super NES, but without the colors, and always being a bit confused. Not that I knew about the Super Famicom colors, but just like, it, you know, it seemed a bit strange, you know, and I think that, yeah, this thing will get a little more yellow over time, especially since it catches a bit of sunlight, sadly. I don't have a good place to put it. But it stayed pretty, the shell hasn't changed colors too much, but yeah. And for all the talk about how the NES was supposed to look like a VCR or something like that, this is pretty, you know, like, yeah, this definitely looks like a piece of like late 80s into 90s technology to me. You know, it doesn't look as toyish as the Famicom, you know. Right, yeah. I was just seeing the last part. Yeah, the Famicom controllers, I will admit, you know, if that's what they were thinking, was that the which, you know, has been widely reported, that they didn't think the Famicom would work with it looking like a toy, and I don't have my Famicom handy. It's in the closet, but interesting that they went for the standard design for, you know, of this for the new Famicom, and then you would have the NES top loader that looks pretty much exactly like this. But yeah, this is very much styled like the NES, eh? You know, like it's a it looks a lot less. If you wanted something to not look like a toy, you know, it is interesting that by the end of this, as they're still making NESs, or they get into the late stage console version of it like this, that they did kind of worldwide go for a more like, yeah, you know, video equipment, some kind of you know, 80s and 90s tech kind of VCR sort of thing. It's interesting that they even in Japan, they sort of dropped that sort of toyish look of the original Famicom. I'll just say one last thing about this too. I didn't know this for a long time, but the NES version, like the new NES, or I don't know what they actually call that, but the one that is like this, that's for the NES, the late stage version, it actually it only has RF as it's the only output available unless you mod. But yeah, I was really disappointed when I heard about that, and I had one for a time as a kid. I remember in high school going over to my, and you know, at this point, like this, we were already you know, playing GameCube games, and the next generation was just about to come out. But I remember having one of the NES top loader, and I didn't remember that facet of it, about it only being RF switch output, you know, or RF output. This was fun, guys. Thanks for hanging. Whew. I'm tired. And thank you again, you know, Nick, Ayaton. Thank you guys. I appreciate that feedback. This is actually kind of what I've been wanting for a while, and I guess like I said, it's things I've considered, but I've honestly been afraid to change, you know, so, and then not all of it had I considered. So thank you guys for that. I'm not trying to take credit for your ideas. It's good to hear, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to get up out of here. Let's see. Let me hit the schedule for you. Oh, man. We'll be back on Wednesday. Unless I figure it out and change. Wait, sorry, Wednesday. Friday. We'll be back Friday. We should have some prepared content, at least something for you. Good old days or gamer news. At least one big feature. And I do think we will try to play a game. And I'll look at making some changes to this format. And I'd like to do it sooner rather than later, but you know, we'll see. All right, guys, everybody's got to make the leap at some point. Let's leap right now. I'm going to play a few sounds for you guys. Thanks again. I appreciate you. Hope you have a good night. Bye, guys.
Donkey.
Donkey.
I'm exhausted. I've run out of things to say.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
The power is Nintendo.
I hope you've all enjoyed our program this morning.
Thou hast slain me.
All right, let's wet our whistles.
Thou hast slain me.
The Parvinator.
I'm speaking human to human, right?
The Parvinator.
No good.
So sorry I died.
The power is Nintendo.
Yes!
Family computer.
Let's go. All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
I speak from the brain.
It's okay for macho men to show every emotion available right there, you know, because I've cried 1,000 times, I'm gonna cry some more.
Beautiful blue skies and golden sunshine.
Double rainbow. Oh my god. It's a double rainbow all the way.
My trick is to take the first bite and then open the sandwich a little bit, and then I blow on the inside to cool it down.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Fatality.
Good night, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Bingo. Bye-bye.